This is WJHS 91.5. Mr. Glaza here with Mondays with the Mayor. Actually joining us, the Mayor of Columbia City, Ryan Daniel, and student freshman who's been hanging around the WJHS studios, interested in the culinary arts, but also has an awareness of what's going on in and around the community. Often appears the local podcast, Midweek Motivation, as well as a few other projects that we're working on here. Xavier, thank you for joining us in the studio. Of course, Mondays with the Mayor, where we kind of get the inside scoop of what's happening in and around Columbia City with Mr. Ryan Daniel. First, hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. It really feels like we have turned the corner. Spring is here. People are getting excited, getting outside. We got farmers market around the corner. We got festivals coming this summer. We are ready to get back to some semblance of normal.
Expos on the way.
Yeah.
The 20th garage sales coming up is what I believe?
There's a ton of garage sales that are coming up. We have neighborhood garage sales are there. I know there's something happening at the 4-H fairgrounds. I think that's the one you're maybe talking about. There's a lot of things, and that's what you can almost feel that kind of energy in the community of people ready to turn the corner from winter. And
we like to talk about what's happening in and around the community with, of course, the mayor is kind of our authority figure, person who's better informed than a lot of us and paying attention. Here at the school, some news happening in and around the community, news happening. Xavier, if you would you like to start our conversation today? What topic would you like to begin with?
I'd ask for your opinion. What you've been doing recently with the whole mask mandate getting lifted, it's about last week, I believe.
Sure.
And how you took it for the city of Columbia City.
Great question. So as we've talked about in past radio programs, the COVID-19 thing has obviously been a continuing trend. It's a continuing topic. And the governor a couple of weeks ago made an announcement that we were moving from a mask mandate to a mask advisory, and that it would be up to locals to kind of make those decisions, except for K through 12, who continues to have the mask mandate. But what we did is, after we had that announcement from the governor, I had conversations certainly with the county and with the county health department, certainly had conversations with our department heads, and just trying to figure out what is the best route for the city of Columbia City and our public buildings and all that kind of stuff. I've always said from the very beginning, the governor gave the authority of enforcement of businesses to the county health department, and that is where it should be. I am not an expert when it comes to restaurants or businesses. I am an expert when it comes to local government, and so that's what I should be. So I say that to say there are some others that have regulated businesses and restaurants. I'm in regards to COVID-19 and mask. I don't feel like that's my role. As for City Hall and city government buildings, we made the decision after talking to the county health department that we were also going to go to the advisory or the recommendation. I like recommendation better than advisory. Yeah. It makes more sense to me because we're recommending mask. Obviously, we have mask. I wear the mask all the time, even though I've gotten the vaccination. But the mask in and of itself is helpful for other people. It's not necessarily so much for you, it's for other people.
I do notice that you actually have the Columbia City. Now, is that a one-off or is that available? It has the Columbia City logo off to the side. Forgive me for just looking at your face for the first time.
No, that's okay. That's okay. You know, there's never a bad time to show off your pride in your community. But we got these done with running around screen printing in downtown Columbia City with Joanne Bird, and I am very sure that if you wanted one, you could go get one from her. But yeah, we made these early in the mask mandate just as a way to kind of show, sometimes when you only can see from their eyes up or below the mask, it's, sometimes it's just easy to have that as an identifier. But anyways. Yeah, so COVID-19, we are in a mask recommendation for our buildings, but not a requirement. We do the same for our employees. Certainly, we're still encouraging social distancing and all that kind of stuff. Our numbers, for the most part, they've ticked up a little bit, but for the most part, they're plateaued. So as people continue to get their vaccinations and they continue to do what needs to be done, that number will continue to go down, and hopefully, we'll be in the blue here in the near future. But last thing I'll say about this is a lot of our cases currently are coming from schools. So I say that just to say what I've been told by the health department, please don't take this and run with this, but what I've been told by the health department is that we probably won't go back to blue or won't be in blue until after school's out.
Okay.
So,
just because of the natural collection of
that's their
students.
their best estimate.
Okay,
right?
their best estimate.
Yes,
that makes
their
sense.
best estimate.
Because I know for a while, just to share here, and I don't have the source to back this up, for a long time, it didn't seem to be the case that schools were the issue.
Absolutely.
Something we pay attention
Absolutely.
to. For sure. Just one quick note that some places are dropping the restrictions, recommendations all over the place. Parkview Hospital, of course, keeping mask restrictions in place.
Sure.
So just if you're headed that way, if you're feeling unwell, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to. Someone's feeling flu-y. Well, you don't want to add to that on purpose.
And to that point, I think it's really important that individuals recognize that businesses still have every right in the world to mandate masks inside their stores. They are on public property or private property. They have the ability, if you don't follow and comply, they may kick you out of their store and off their property. So please follow the recommendations of the individual or the business owner or the business that you're going into. They still have the full ability to force you to wear a mask. And please be respectful of that no matter what.
All right. Was there anything else that we wanted to include when it comes to COVID updates around the community?
Sure. Well, there is maybe one other thing that I can think of, and that is obviously last year during the summer, because of masks and social distancing and all that kind of stuff, we were really limited on what we could do at our aquatic center. And so we actually we actually sold, obviously not knowing this, we sold passes during the Christmas season, going up into 2020. And had to refund a lot of those because we couldn't guarantee individuals are going to be allowed in. So we were able to open the aquatic center. We were one of the few places in the state, or at least in Northeast Indiana, that had the pool or the aquatic center open. This year, we actually are going to start selling seasonal passes again. We have a couple of different things. Prices have gone up a little, but we also have punch cards available. We also have daily admission. But we're going to be doing that soon. And summer swim lessons, we are already allowing individuals to sign up for summer swim lessons. We're actually going to expand the amount of swim lessons because we've had such an overwhelming interest in it.
Yeah.
So that's really good. So we are excited about that. We are going to be doing some different things when it comes to the actual the concession stand. We're going to be doing a little bit different things there. So there's a lot of really good things happening. But as for COVID, we are really excited to have hopefully a normal-ish season. We're still working with the health department of what the amount we're allowed in, what that number is going to be. But at the end of the day, we are excited for the new season.
I was just imagining swim lessons with face mask, and I'm just like, nah. But understandable, you have certain limitations for the amount of people that you'd want to allow in and things like that. I think that's fun. For that being said, events on the horizon for Columbia City that we're looking at, there's a lot of things that are starting to come back. Did you have one that you wanted to mention? Xavier, have you ever been to one of the festivals downtown or First Friday events?
I believe so. I think I have a couple times.
You have a couple times. Favorite part that you remember? Food.
It's got to be food, right?
It's got to be food.
Food, dude, right?
Yeah. My stomach just rumbled. I don't know if you heard that or not, but it's got to be food. So you have been to the events. What is your impression for the community for what these events do for us, other than just feeding us?
I like that having these sort of events around the city and stuff, being able to do this every year is like connects the community a little bit more.
Sure.
Or able to like communicate with each other and just have fun all together. So I feel like it connects the community a little bit more.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're excited about this year. And again, the more we can, I say this almost every time that I have an opportunity, but the more connections we have in this community, the more that people get to spend time together, build genuine relationships, then the more people plant roots and the more this place matters. And it's not just a physical place. Place is made up of not just the physical stuff, but it's made up of the groups. It's made up of the personal connections. It's made up of kids and grandkids and friends and all that kind of stuff. So I say all that to say we are excited about this year. We have a chamber expo coming up, as you mentioned earlier. We have farmers market that's going to be opening up. I think that's the 8th is what the farmers market's going to be opening up, Saturday the 8th, I think.
Looking right now.
We got. We're going to have Old Settlers this year. We're going to have Old Settlers Parade. I know Fort Wayne has canceled their Three Rivers Festival Parade, although I think they're still going to have the festival somehow. Seems a little counterintuitive. That's Ryan's commentary. But we are planning to have both the parade and Old Settlers Festival in downtown. I do not know if there will be any changes, regulations, whatever to that. That actually is, Old Settlers actually ran by a separate group. It's by the Old Settlers Committee. We're also planning to have 3rd of July fireworks, Independence Day fireworks on the 3rd of July down at Morse's Park this year. I vowed we will never have another drive-in fireworks show that's not on the 3rd of July, by the way. Last year we did it in September, and we just didn't have a whole lot of people that came. Obviously, they come for food, to your point, and they come for other things, and so we're excited about all
so
those
just
things.
a first Friday for downtown
First
Columbia
Friday,
City.
yes.
The 7th is actually the first one.
Yes.
So May 7th, the first one. June 4th, the second.
Yes.
So
actually, and on that point, on the 7th, that day, so we have First Friday on the 7th, and actually the next day on the 8th is the farmers market, I believe. But on the 7th, we actually, I think, are going to be doing the official grand opening of Okie Alley. So what people don't know is Okie Alley is sort of kind of open, but not officially. The reason for that is because when we got done with the majority of the work in there last year, it was too cold to plant.
Right.
Plant flowers or plant plants.
It does add a nice touch.
So, yes.
And just to dive in on this, we actually did a class project looking at Okie Alley and the updates. So if you go right out the front of the courthouse going towards Van Buren, if you're unfamiliar where Okie Alley is, the portrait of the owl on Yes. So it's right across from the courthouse, and I loved it. I knew the work. A lot of the work was done through December into February, if I remember correctly, or November. Excuse me. And it really brightened up that space. It went from kind of a dingy, there's a pallet there and some shrubbery that came from 1980.
Sure.
And now to look at it, even though it hasn't been polished with the furnishings of plant life and things like that, it really is quite nice, especially when you're on the lawn or First Fridays and just kind of walking by, that it is a beautiful little space. So if you're going up and down, maybe you'll see that as you go by, but the official opening feel like what you're about to break out the news for.
Well, yes. I mean, effectively, so in that alley, there's, again, we talk about connections, and we talk about that personal connection. That space is really all about connections. Shinzo Oki brought people together, manufactured, the first fermented soy sauce in the United States, right? He came here from Japan, and he had the ability to bring people together. My favorite story, I know I've told this 300 times, but my favorite story about Shinzo Oki is that as a Japanese immigrant, he was here when Pearl Harbor happened, and he was a faithful, regular attender to Rotary. And after Pearl Harbor happened, he was so ashamed, he was afraid he wasn't going to be welcomed into the Rotary Club that day or into the future. So he stayed home. Absolutely. Because of that connection. And literally the Rotary Club members, realizing why he wasn't there, walked to his house, brought him into the meeting to applause. If that doesn't show community, hospitality, and love for your neighbor, I don't know what does. And so when I think of that story, that alley, basically embodies that story. So in that alley, again, you have places to gather. You're going to see more things pop up there, but we have a fantastic Whitley Shows You, as in show you soy sauce. Whitley Shows You, that's their connection there. That was put together by Sean Dunwoody, who was an artist from, I believe, New York. And that was part of the Arts Mural Project across Northeast Indiana, the 11 counties. We also have down on the other end, we actually have a mural by of Shinzo Oki down there, and by Michael Ludi. He's doing that portion down there. We have some ginkgo leaves because the ginkgo tree that actually
I'm learning all kinds of stuff
harkens back
today.
to Japan. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things. So when we were putting this together,
as 2019, 2018.
Yes. So so as I told you prior to us going on the air, I'm a big Disney guy. Okay,
You don't say.
So Easter eggs, if you will, little hidden gems here and there are something that I really enjoy looking for, and so we have hidden some little Easter eggs in that alley, not actual Easter eggs, but little mementos and
I'm
little
glad you
things.
clarified.
Yes,
Okay.
to clarify, little
Like the
mementos,
show you,
like some of the Okie kind of emblems, the ginkgo tree leaves, things like that. It's going to be really, really cool. And once we're able to once we're able to actually officially open it, that will be a great kind of segue into the first Fridays that night. So we're super excited.
It seems like you planned that one out. I love a good batch of sushi and clean sushi that with the touch of soy sauce. Just really takes the edge off some days when I got the tummy grumbles like I do today, which is kind of fun. So speaking of the mural, I see Xavier here. You have a headline from In Whitley newspaper. Go ahead and fire off what you.
Yeah, there are mural plans in work for the Cherubusco community.
Sure.
They have received a $5,000 grant for the project and are going to put it by the Cherubusco Public Library.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool that they're also adding a mural to the county.
Let me ask you this: being again the new guy in town here, wife's side from here in Cherubusco, are we kind of buddy with them? Are they stealing our ideas? Did they literally we put together Okie Alley and they're like, we need one of our own now? Do we have ties to that? Can you speak to that at all?
Sure. So, Okie Alley obviously was kind of this idea of how do we do a placemaking project for this old dilapidated alley. But I think the mural piece kind of just fit in so naturally into that. And there is clearly a movement among not just maybe Indiana, but nationwide for small communities to incorporate public art in different ways into their community. And, we've seen little pieces of that. To your point about the owl, that's kind of the old school art that was up on the building there. Chapman's, I think, is where it's at. Right. So we got the owl there, but then if you branch out from that on the side of running around, there's a big butterfly you can stand there that has representation of Whitley County. You have the new Whitley show you. You have the Alice in Wonderland idea on the side of the urban station. You got some building art that's on the side of Bruja. So when I say that, I don't think we inspired them. I think we do a really good job. This is what I've said. Ryan Daniel is not a creator. Ryan Daniel is really good at replicate and duplicate, R&D. Not research and development, replicate and duplicate.
Hey, I like that idea.
So you let's steal it and bring it here, right?
Drive around. Hey, what are they doing over that? What is that?
And it's not, by the way, this isn't a Ryan Daniel project. This is a really big community project, lots and lots of people together. But I say that just to say art and public art specifically is another one of those community connectors. And it's something that not only brightens up the community from maybe the dark or the beiges or the brick color.
Yeah.
But it not only brightens that up, but it also usually gives you some kind of an emotional response. And emotional responses give you emotional connections to your community, which is probably why Cherubusco went that way.
No, exactly. And I'll agree with that wholeheartedly, that when I went by and I knew it was getting work done, I kind of, go and get a sandwich or whatever and just would drive by. That was like the doldrums of COVID. Are we going to have any toilet paper ever?
Right.
Sort of that time frame when it was kind of wrapping up. And I do remember going by and it is very bright and very pink and like happy warm colors. And I was like, heck yeah, that looks great.
Yes.
That looks great. That was like just like you get out of the shower and like your favorite shirt just happens to be washed too at the same time, sort of situation.
Yes.
Kind of fun to see. Quick news here within the Whitley County school system. Of course, the community already knows about this, but just a quick shout out to our new administrators developing into new positions and moving up and moving around. Yeah. Big shout out to, of course, Laura McDermott taking over as our head counselor in chief, superintendent now.
Right.
And Jacob Hogue, of course, it's wonderful. Congratulates on your position. Dr. Pat O'Connor, of course, it's wonderful. And I just wanted to congratulate everyone and thank you, of course, to Dr. Pat. Hired me on. I guess there's nothing more than I can say. And just the legacy, I was thinking about this the other day, that they've how many lives they've impacted.
Yes.
And I don't want to get emotionally choked up, but it's really wonderful to think about an entire generation of students
Yeah.
and people who are now affecting and making their own decisions today and growing into full-blown adults and their own. Some have gone on to teaching in different professions and manufacturing. It really is quite amazing how one person can touch the lives of many.
Absolutely.
So give thanks to our history teacher, Miss Rensselaer, for taking her selected people to nationals for national history.
Oh, yeah.
Some wonderful school news. NHD,
Yes.
right across the hall
Yeah.
from the WJHS Studios project that really a lot of other NHD society student groups across the country really struggling and falling apart this year without that. But right across the hall, congratulations to Mrs. Rensselaer and the students for not only putting something together, but putting together something at this level, actually going to be getting selected to contribute, I believe, to a national lesson plan that other schools will R&D that will reuse and distribute and research and develop on their own. So great ideas getting pushed and all over. Great point to bring up there, Xavier. You should do this more often.
That's right. Well, and you know, I think that's a fantastic example of why this facility was needed so much. You know, we've said for so long we have such great education, we have such great students and teachers and all that kind of stuff, but the facilities don't reflect it. In fact, you know, I can remember getting a phone call. I was actually at a mayor's conference. I got a phone call from Dr. Pat, and she said, "Mayor, I have something to tell you." And I said, "Okay, what's that?" And she said, "We are going to go to referendum." And I said, "Oh, that's great." And she said, "On the same date as your election." And I said, "Okay, well, you got 100% of my support. So if that means I lose, that means I lose. But we'll lose together." So, but obviously we didn't. Huge amount of community support, obviously, out there. And it just ended up being great. And then fast forward a little while to a presentation we had right outside on the old middle school football field where we broke ground. And I was able to notate it as being leaving a legacy day, because truly this building and what the work of all those people and all the people from here to there are leaving a legacy in our community. And you can see that by the fact that we cannot build houses fast enough to put people in, because people want to live in Columbia City and Whitley County. And I would say mainly because of this facility.
Interesting. I would agree with that. My wife and I have been looking for a home of our own, and my wife, compliments to her. There's a reason I picked her and she picked me. That she's
said
tenacious.
By every man ever.
She's
by the way,
she's tenacious.
It's interesting you bring that up, because the same thing on here, it says that February 18th to January housing market report shows lower sales but higher prices.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, because we're kind of sort of in that game, we won't go into that, but we're kind of sort of in that game right now, and it is absolutely incredible how quickly homes are moving, to the point of home buyers are actively going to individuals who they're hearing rumors of are going to be selling homes, and trying to get a jump start or effectively get an agreement before it even goes on the market. Was talking to some of my realtor friends, and the stock is so low. Well, I mean, the stock continues to grow, but it's not quick enough. And prices are way accelerating in regards to that. And it just is creating a crunch. And so it's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing. And so balancing that is the important part.
Growing pain.
It sure is a growing pain.
And it's because people both are growing families here in the community and wanting to come in due to, as you mentioned, the school system, the opportunities we have here.
Sure.
It's not a bad place to live either. I gotta say that.
It's great location, especially, and I think I've told you this before, but the reason why I landed here, to be fair, my dad's family was here, but the reason why I landed here was Mom worked in Warsaw, Dad worked in Fort Wayne, so this was a beautiful middle point.
Interesting.
Granted, we had family here already, so it kind of helped tip the scales a little bit, but at the end of the day, we have a lot of those situations. A lot of people who commute out to work. In fact, a couple of years ago, and I don't know where we're at now, but a couple of years ago, Whitley County was the second highest net migration out for work every day, which means that we had, of all 92 counties in Indiana, we had the second largest amount of people heading out to work somewhere else, but choosing to live here in Whitley County. I think that
Interesting.
says a lot about
So
our population.
They make money elsewhere,
Yes.
essentially, and they bring it back.
Bring it back.
And they
We love that, by the way.
spend it in here. That's kind of
Yes.
fun. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I did not know. Second highest.
Second highest.
Second
Now,
highest.
again, I don't know where we're at now because that was a couple years ago, but I am very confident we're still probably in the top 10 just because of our proximity to both the orthopedics capital of the world in Warsaw, as well as the second largest city in Indiana in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, my grandpa, he works for the Hagerman Construction Company that was just working on the
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
the superintendent. I don't know if you know Max Goldwood, but
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do.
yeah,
Small world.
Yep.
he travels around the world, like not around the world, but around the state for the most part. Like he got sent to Valparaiso a while back, and we still live here.
Yep. Choose to live here.
We've been living here they've been living there for about 22 years.
Yep.
I've been living with them for about 9.
Nice.
So.
And at the end of the day, it's story after story after story of those kind of things where individuals are continuing to choose to live here. And I preface or I emphasize that for this point. In this market, in this economy, in this society, you can literally choose to live just about anywhere and be able to do a job of some sort, right? We have to continually win that game. We have to continually be the one that people are able to choose or are choosing to live here. And that is, frankly, that is a large part of my job every day, is trying to make sure people are choosing to live here.
Kind of fun. This is Mondays with the Mayor on WJHS 91.5. Of course, joining us in studio, looking at potentially a culinary future, is Xavier. Of course, Ryan Daniel from Columbia City. The mayor sitting across from me. I'm Mr. Jordan Glaza, the audio-video media teacher here at Columbia City High School. What else do we have on the agenda? What are some things that we want to talk about? Just quick notes as we go to wrap up Mondays with the Mayor. Of course, we're trying to do this every third Monday of the month, right before the school board meetings hit on the Columbia City High School radio station. I heard that the junk cleanup days are on the way. Speaking of spring cleanup, speaking of me wanting to wear shorts outside when we end this evening. Junk cleanup is here. It is upon us. As many of you know, we used to do 2 because of cost and other issues. We've shrunk it to 1 junk cleanup, which actually is what we did before I came into office anyways. But long story short is the west side of the city, keep in mind, city is divided by State Road 9. So the west side of the city is on April 30th. Whereas the east side of the city is on May 7th. You need to have your trash out the day before. And, all of our regulations and all that kind of stuff is on the city's website. But I always note this. Tires, stoves, washers, dryers, hot water heaters, dishwashers, refrigerators, air conditioners, freezers, batteries, and any other appliances, you have to call City Hall to have those picked up. And you need to do it before your pickup date. So make sure you call City Hall because the trash hauler does not pick those up. We pick those up for our residents. Okay.
So just know that. Electronics can all be taken to the recycle center. And then you're kind of on your own to figure out where to get rid of bricks and concrete and things like that. Trash hauler won't pick it up. And we don't really have a great place for it either. So that's that.
What were the dates on that one more time? The 30th?
April 30th and May 7th. April 30th for the west side, May 7th for the east side.
Okay, so Friday coming up pretty quick here.
Yes,
gotcha.
we're very close. I want to congratulate Gary Parrott. He's our new police chief.
Yes.
So he was Actually, he was sworn in on Tuesday at the city council meeting. So happy to have him on board and appreciate previous chief Scott Leatherman for his service. April 17th from 9 to noon, we have leaf mulch loading, if you will, at Morse's Park. So we have designated April 17th. That's this Saturday, I think, although it may be past.
It will be past.
It will be past. Okay, so ignore what I just said. And then limb pickup has begun. The next limb pickup is on May 3rd. Pickup truck size load or smaller. Limbs and branches under 4 inches in diameter or lower. So
is that street sign?
That is street side, yes. Curbside. So we actually don't do much in the alleys anymore because the trucks have just gotten so big.
Sure.
And it just beats down the alley. So we do almost everything curbside. So junk goes curbside, limbs go curbside, leaves go curbside.
Okay, a lot of cleanup happening this next little bit. Was there any other item that you wanted to address today in particular, Xavier, Mr. Daniels?
Go ahead. Do you have anything? Well, overall, like I said, I appreciate the opportunity to continue to do this. And I always tell individuals our city meetings are open to the public. Board of Works is on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month at 5 p.m. City Council is after those at 6 p.m. on the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month. We have Housing Authority and Park Board and Redevelopment Commission, all kinds of meetings, and we have like nobody that ever shows up to those. Maybe that's good. Maybe that means everyone's happy, or it means that they don't really know what's going on, or that's going on,
or they don't know when to meet. Perhaps.
And they don't know when to meet. So we put
you said second and
fourth Tuesdays of the month at 5 is Board of Works and 6 o'clock is City Council.
Very good.
The other meetings, we try to put all that, by the way, all those meeting dates and times on our newsletter and on the city website. You can get all of that information. And that's kind of where we're going. So,
multiple ways to connect. Wonderful.
Yes.
The voice of Ryan Daniel, mayor of Columbia City High School. Xavier, thank you for joining us as always. Hope you pulled something away from this, and you're thinking about a swim lesson at the
aquatic center. That's right.
Ta-da! Or you're cleaning up the some family residence,
or maybe lifeguard,
maybe lifeguard. Oh, but that's right. They are doing that. That being said, this is Mondays with the Mayor on WJHS 91.5. We're looking forward to another Mondays with the Mayor, just keeping up with what's happening here at Columbia City High School's radio station.